In this video, I'm going to talk briefly about how to edit the English class test for our Evolve curriculum at the Bridge, and then also how to administer it. So first, if you go to Google Drive to the Bridge, the Evolve curriculum folder, placement test, you'll see this list of files. So this first file here, this Google form, is the actual test itself, as you can see here. This is where the responses for the test are being sent to. And then these two files were used to make the form. And then this is the PDF form from Evolve that details what the placement test is, a description of it. And then on page 6 and 7, there's a written version of how to administer it, which is a little bit different given that we're doing it digitally versus on paper. And then on page 7, here's the scoring guidelines where we can determine what level of Evolve the student places into. So when you are, if you ever find any kind of mistake in the exam, like a spelling mistake or something, for example, and it needs to be changed, this would be the place to come to do it through Google Drive. And then here you can see the responses, and then here are our settings as well. So let's say I want to administer this test to a student. I would grab a Chromebook at the Bridge. All of the Chromebooks at the Bridge have, in the top left corner when you open Google Chrome, there is a bookmark folder similar to this, for example, where click on it and there's a drop down, and there's one called English Class Test for Evolve Curriculum. You open this and it will look exactly like this. So the student, first of all, needs to just complete really basic information. And once they've completed the information, they can click Next. Here are the instructions for the test. So there's two ways you could do this. One is to let the student read this text on their own and then see if they have any questions. The second would be for you to read it out loud to them. At any rate, it's really important to emphasize two things. One being that this is an evaluation. It's not a test, or the goal, even though we call it a test, the goal is not to score as high as possible. We want an accurate reading of the student's level. And so to that end, the second thing to emphasize is that they should not use any outside help for answers, whether it's people or electronic devices and so on. If they understand it, they should click yes, go to the next page, and here is where the first section of the test is. Here are the basic instructions for the test, and then set a timer for 15 minutes. And then when the student is ready to begin, they should click play on this video, and the audio of this walks them through this entire first section. So it will describe, hey, you're going to read the situation 1. Jason and Emily are talking about work, read the item, and then it'll pause, like there'll be silence while the student reads over this, and then the conversation will play. Now, students may get confused and think, oh, something's messed up with the audio because it's not playing, but it has spaces of silence in them for them to complete the work. And then after they hear the conversation, they will be instructed to complete item 1, and so on. So it continues throughout the whole thing. The video is just, I think it's about 17 minutes long, even though they only have 15 minutes. So that means there's a little bit of dead time at the end. And again, students should not pause this while they are, after they've started the video. It's very important for them to just go through it from start to end. So I'll just select a couple here, and to give us a score at the end here. And now that I'm done, I'll click Next. I'll move on to the next section, reading section. Again, instructions, and then the section has 20 minutes instead of 15. And then there's a passage given with one question or more after the test progressively. The passages get longer as the test progresses. Also, you may notice here that the text is pretty small since it's in the description of this item. So if you want to, you can hit Control+ on your keyboard, and it will zoom in the web page for you. And then Control- will take it back to normal. So again, I'll just select a couple here. And then now that I'm done, hit next, and then similar on this last part. So there's 30 items here and 15 minutes to complete it. And once the student is complete, let's see, I'll just select another one here. Some of these may be wrong anyway. I'll submit it now, and a little thank you note will come up. So they do not get their test results themselves. This is just something we see on the back end. So I can come back here, and it looks like I scored a 4 out of 70. So if I look at my scoring guidelines on page 7 of this PDF, a 4 places me into level 1. So at this point, then we would communicate the results to the student and assign them their level and give them the class schedule if we know that already. So that's the basic gist of how to edit the English class test as well as administer it.